Good day to everyone in the room this morning. We're representing good spectrum of the countries in the world at this point this morning. Bom dia, welcome. I will give it over to Jan van Vieren. He will open for us with a prayer and the safety minute, and then I will hand it over to Dr. Dudley to share the country feedback for us this morning. Jan, over to you to start. Thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie. Let's bow our heads. Dear Lord, we thank you that we can be all together here this morning in your name. We thank you for all the blessings that we receive, and we pray that you will be with us in this meeting, be with us in your spirit, and lead us in what we are doing. We thank that in your almighty name. Thank you. On safety, Mani always mentioned that it's safety first in nuclear. We have our safety culture. We are busy building on that, and we are following a safety approach. But sometimes in what we are doing this week, we were talking also about complacency. We always do things and nothing is happening to us. So we become a bit reluctant in some aspects. But that is something that we have to look into and manage carefully. We follow a safety process. We follow all the steps that we need to ensure a safety design at the end of the reaction, that we can operate it safely. I just want to mention then a little poster that I saw this week, and sometimes it crosses our minds as well, that we say, but all these safety things is a lot of effort and pain. And at the bottom of the poster it said, imagine having an accident, what pain you can have then. Thank you, Mani.
Thank you very much for that prayer and safety moment. Much appreciated for your week. And we will continue next week with another person. Thank you. I hand over now to Dr. Dudley. Dr. Dudley, the floor is yours.
Good morning, Mozwelians. Welcome to a lovely Friday, 28th of February, the last day of the month. Lovely, excellent. I would like to welcome everybody from all the countries, all the provinces, all the areas. It's really great to have you here. And I would like to ask Mani through you, Tandi Jikelo, to please give our condolences to the family of Sanamela Masango. Mani, Tandi Jikelo.
Thank you, Dr. Tandi. Over to you. Please share with us.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Mani. Good morning, team. Let's share some condolences. We are really sad to, as a country, as a nation, as the nuclear science industry, to have lost Sinamile Masango. We know Sinamile Masango has been a very young, brilliant mind within the nuclear industry, a young scientist who passed her nuclear physics studies with brilliant colors. It is said that in our roads, our dangerous roads, we lost such a soul. Our condolences go to her family. We have lost a breadwinner, a young mind, a motivational force within the family, within the nation. And as the nuclear industry, we lost somebody who has contributed a lot in terms of the nuclear science. And she was a well-rounded individual who was also a board member of NEXA. It is really with great sadness that we lose such a soul and a role model to the younger generation of nuclear scientists. Our condolences go to her family, her colleagues, and the whole of South Africa as a nation. We lost a brilliant soul, a role model, and we pray to God that he receives her soul and may her soul rest in peace. Thank you. Back to you, Manny.
Thank you, Tangi. We'll keep her in her prayers and the family in the difficult times at this point in time. Thank you. Back to you, Doctor.
Thank you very much, Tandi Shikelo. Yes, may her soul rest in peace, and that we all acknowledge that. She is a nuclear person and a friend of Mozweli. We support her and her family, and our condolences. Thank you very much. Right, let's continue with our feedback for Africa, and it's more collaboration, development, what's happening in Africa, and that it's good to be up to date to see. We talking now to the people that are nuclear converted. It doesn't make sense to talk to the media because 90% of the people don't know the word nuclear. Here we're all on board. All of you have signed the NCNDA, and that you understand the business and you understand why we are here. Our vision is to light up Africa. Our goals are to build small pebble modular nuclear power plants in Africa and the world. And this is for the people of Africa, economic power for the people. Now, by now, all of you should have listened to this video. It is really an exceptional video by a person called Dr. Dudley. He has presented the case for nuclear for Africa exceptionally well. It has done very well, 10,000 views and counting. I think today, that was last week's picture. It has gone viral. It has catapulted the organization that has videoed this to double figures for the viewers. And I think the important thing here is to share the knowledge, the view. Today is extremely safe. Future, our biggest challenge is not getting more orders. Our biggest challenge is converting the people out there that this is the future. It's good for the planet. We're going towards carbon zero, and it's sustainable jobs, stimulating the industry, and we as Africans, we can do it. So important. It's not about the numbers here. So I'm going to give a challenge to every Mozwelian in the house here today. For next week, you got a week. Find one person, just one person, any person, bring them to this webinar. I think it's so important to spread the word. Can be a child, can be a teenager, can be an adult, can be a senior adult. Bring just one person. Let's double the numbers. Let's spread the word. How good, what we are doing is really for Africa, and we can emancipate and go into the future. This is a very important slide. It is a milestone, a watershed moment for Mozweli. We are so proud of our three ladies, Ravashni Singh, Chinelo Chikwara, Advocate Lindilwe Nziba. The ladies in Mozweli been here for a while, and they have been selected by the World Nuclear University to attend a program, a 1-month program in China on nuclear business, and to meet about 50 other nuclear people globally. There were over 100,000 applications, and our three Mozwelian ladies, they made it. They got notification that they've got acceptance at the World Nuclear University, which is a part of the World Nuclear Association. Mozweli is a member of the World Nuclear Association, better known as WNA. We are so proud of these ladies. We are honored. They will do Mozweli proud. They will do Africa proud. They are going there to rub shoulders with international people from all over the world and to expand their knowledge on nuclear Ravashni, Nuclear Finance, Ginello, Nuclear Regulatory Affairs, Advocate Lindilwe Nziba, Nuclear Legal. Sometimes you believe you've reached the peak of your career, but when you come to Mozweli land, there's so many more peaks to go. So these are exciting times for our ladies, and that shows you it's not only about the power plant, it's about development, skills transfer, training. That is what we stand for here, for the people of Africa. And here's an example. We have many examples, but here, current as of today, they were notified, please come, be part of the family. And we know people who've been to these programs, and they come back so much more emancipated, so much more knowledgeable. No university in South Africa or in Africa offers nuclear finance or nuclear regulatory or even nuclear legal. It does not exist. You have to go to the World Nuclear University. We are so proud of you, ladies. A big hoo-ha for them. Thank you. Right, the next slide here. We saw the elections taking place in Germany. And you may say, what's that got to do with Africa? Well, the technology, Pebble technology was expanded in Germany, and the program stopped in Germany, and then it got transferred to South Africa. That's what it's got to do here. And in 1986, the Germans, the political party then called the Green Party, said no to nuclear, shut down all nuclear power plants. And that was 40 years ago, and the direction in which the government was going is to go solar and to go wind. And they shut down all their nuclear power plants, and today Germany is in trouble, energy trouble. The gas has been turned off. Energy now is, I think it's gone up to 10 times the price of what it was. They are buying electricity produced by nuclear power in France. So there's a party that was promoting nuclear power, and I believe they were successful on Sunday's elections, and that's called a rejuvenation of nuclear power in Germany. We are so proud that they go in the right direction. Just some information to share with the team here. So politicians should take note that the direction for a country is sometimes very extremely important, because the people at the end of the day, they suffer, and we need to take cognizance of that. We did mention last week the presidential climate change seminar that took place in South Africa on the 19th of February. Two organizations that stand out, the Association of Municipal Electricity Utilities and SANEDI, South African National Energy Institute. They very important. They are supporting nuclear power, SMRs for South Africa. And if you look at the AMU, the Association of Municipal, they are saying exactly what Mozweli has been saying for 10 years, put one nuclear power plant at each municipal area. It will create jobs, stimulate the industry, and people will be working and they will be paying for electricity. So we're so glad, so proud that AMU is behind the nuclear drive in South Africa and in Africa. The SANEDI also have come out to say they support nuclear in going forward, and that is the right direction in which countries should be going. Now, on this slide here, we have all the countries that we are engaging with at present. There are 20 countries, can you believe it? And there's Japan there. We got Sujan Sandhu, who's marketing and marketing Mozweli. So these are the countries and districts and areas that we are talking to. Anthony Haupt, he's in Ireland. We spoke to him before the meeting now. He said, good morning. We got Beverly Goddard in New Zealand. She's going to give us a feedback in a second. And yes, these are all the countries that we are well established. Now, what we need to point out here is that we've been engaging with the countries on the left 1 to 7 since 2018. Today is 2025, 7 years. So if somebody ever says to you, nuclear takes long, tell them bollocks. We have been busy with your country for the last 7 years in business development. One more year, the power plant could be started up, commissioned, and power for the people. So the story, the misnomer, the misleading statement that people say, yeah, but nuclear takes so long. Sorry, my China, it's time is not an issue here. If they all came to the table in 2018, they would be having lots of power today. So it's always a commitment by a country to go nuclear, and that is where we are. So these countries here, fine-tune them now, 1 to 12. These countries here in deep discussions with Mozweli, and we are saying to the countries, show commitment to the nuclear program. It is for the people, and funding will roll into these countries. That's all the governments of these countries need to do, show commitment. Without the commitment, it is extremely difficult to source funding for the countries. And the first 7 again, right on top of the list there, that is where we are. It does change from week to week or month to month, but we are doing exceptionally well in these countries. Now, our president in America, Trump, he has come out to say, make America great, and cut off all exports and imports, cut off USA aid to Africa. And he's even saying there was a program called the Power Africa program, which was started by the previous president, the previous to Barack Obama. He said there's a program for Africa. Let's help Africa with solar and renewables and wind and wada. Trump has come forward. He cut off that program. He killed the program. And he said, Africa, you are now on your own. You are now on your own. And we have to do that so that Africa can wake up and do things for themselves. And we are saying, thank you, Mr. Trump, President Trump. Never fear, Mozweli is here. We are here for Africa. We've always been saying in the last 10 years, self-beneficiation. Stop depending on other countries. We can do it. We have it all here. We have the people. We have the minerals. Let's do it. That is so important. Africa, we are on our own today. And Donald Trump has made that clear. All funding, all technology, name it, he has said no more, it stops, doesn't leave America. So he has helped us. Thank you very much. Right, now we're going to Hermanus. We're going to introduce Beverly Goddard. Hermanus, if you can introduce Beverly Goddard. She's in New Zealand representing Mozweli. And Hermanus, back to you.
Thank you, Dr. Dudley. We want to introduce Beverly Goddard. She's our colleague currently in New Zealand. She will talk from New Zealand this morning. It's daytime or it's nighttime for her, but it's morning time for us in South Africa. I want to introduce her. She's a company secretary. She's also the senior lead for the corporate the office in Cape Town. Beverly, over to you.
Right. Thank you, Marnie. Good morning, everyone, and kia ora from New Zealand. The time now is just gone 6:15 in the evening. And as Dr. Dudley said, I'm a Mozwelian representative here in New Zealand today. The temperature today was recorded at 24 degrees. Now, 24 degrees here is actually very hot. And no child goes to school without wearing a sun hat or sunscreen. It's regulatory at the schools. Now, New Zealand is a beautiful country with lots of open spaces, greenery everywhere, and lots of farmlands. It is made up of the North and the South Islands. And here on the map, we can see the North and the South Islands of New Zealand. On the map to the bottom, can you, just in the middle, on the right-hand side, can you see Wellington? Well, Wellington is the capital of New Zealand. On the west side, just to above, can you see New Plymouth? Just at the bottom of the North Island, just below the red New Zealand, that gutting out portion, you will see New Plymouth. and that is my location. That is where I am situated at the moment. Thank you. Just below that, you see Mount Taranaki. Now, on the doorstep of where I am situated at the moment is this Mount Taranaki, and it's an active volcano, and in winter is beautifully laden with snow.
Alert from calendar. Expo meeting daily.
The length of New Zealand from the south to the North Island is about 1,600 kilometers, 990 miles. And travel from one island to the other is done mostly via an aeroplane or ferries or water taxis. Auckland, can we see Auckland there at the top? Yes. Auckland, the capital of New Zealand, also hosts the main international airport. Now, New Zealand, as beautiful as it is, and Kiwi land, which we know them to be, is not exempt from electricity issues. Does New Zealand have nuclear power plants? Well, the answer is no. New Zealand does not have nuclear power plants. In fact, it is one of the few developed countries without nuclear power. New Zealand has considered nuclear power in the past, but has not pursued this avenue. In the 1960s and 1970s, nuclear power was considered for the national plans, but somehow they just haven't progressed on this issue. In 1976, a Royal Commission on Nuclear Power Generation concluded that nuclear power was not immediately needed, but may be economically possible in the early 21st century. Well, we are already well into the 21st century, and New Zealand is lagging behind in the nuclear environment. Why the Royal Commission? Because New Zealand is hugely linked to the King and Queen of England. In fact, the country today still celebrates the Queen's birthday as a public holiday. New Zealand has a nuclear-free stance, and this has become part of the country's identity. It could be to their detriment. They really need to come up to speed with nuclear. Well, New Zealand has abundant renewable resources, and that includes hydro, wind, and solar. I see lots of ads punting, marketing solar in the country these days. Now, who uses the most power in New Zealand? It's dairy product manufacturing, petrochemical manufacturing, and the primary metal sector. Then the country's dominant renewable source of power is hydropower. This contributes approximately 55% of electricity generation, followed by geothermal energy. At this point in time, New Zealand only offers nuclear medicine qualifications. Does New Zealand have power shortages? Yes, New Zealand is currently experiencing power shortages, primarily due to the low hydro lake levels and dwindling gas supplies. This has led to concerns about electricity supply, as well as the possible price increases. And especially with the winter months coming, with my ear to the ground, I hear people actually worrying about winter months and the hike in their electricity prices. Now, I mentioned the low hydro storage. New Zealand relies heavily on hydroelectricity, and the low rainfall this past summer has resulted in significantly reduced water levels in the hydro lakes, impacting power generation. Currently, the country has water restrictions. And then the gas supply issues. Declining natural gas reserves, including an incident that occurred at a gas field in 2018, have further contributed to the energy shortage. An article written by Mike Watson talks about hydrocarbon leaks shuts down Taranaki offshore gas pipeline. This was an underwater pipeline which carried millions of cubic meters of gas condensate to an onshore production facility. And then the price increases. As we well understand that the combination of low water supply and high demand has caused significant rise in electricity prices. Well, what's the government's response? The New Zealand government is looking at measures to address this issue, including fast-tracking new liquefied natural gas import terminals and investing in more renewable energy. So, in summary, New Zealand's electricity supply has come under immense pressure and strain in recent months due to the water levels, and the low water levels, I should say, a dry summer, and below normal rainfall. Currently, New Zealand has very little expertise or infrastructure to support nuclear power reactors, and this would need to be developed. There is a lot of work to be done in this country. We mentioned earlier in our meeting, we mentioned Africa, we mentioned Germany, and so why not New Zealand? Mozweli certainly has the expertise in theory and practical to assist this country. That concludes my information to you today. Thank you, Moni. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Beverly, for this amount of interesting but also valuable information. How other countries see things and do and develop. Much appreciated for that. We have a footprint now in New Zealand, and keep it on and keep the lights on. Talk to us in that sense. And back to Dr. Dudley to conclude before we close down. Dr. Dudley, over to you.
From our New Zealander, Beverly Goddard, just one question and one word answer. Do you think New Zealand would do well with nuclear power, Beverly?
Yes, very definitely. Very definitely, Doctor.
Right,
Yes.
so there we see it from a person in New Zealand, and that it can create sustainable jobs, stimulate industry, stabilize the economy, increase in the GDP, water security, and a stabilized energy supply. As we heard from Ms. Goddard, that they got an unstable supply of power, and it makes good economic sense to go nuclear. So well done, Beverly. Keep on marketing and be a proud Mozwelian. We are proud of you. Excellent feedback, and that is where we are today. Right, we see that all countries, even a country like New Zealand, is short on power, and that stable power, baseload power, which Mozweli can produce, does alleviate poverty in a country. That is so important to understand that. Now, on our second last slide here, just an announcement in your diary that we are resuming the University Eduardo Modlani lectures. The first lecture will be on the 27th of March, and that it's a series of lectures, one a month, normally the last Thursday of the month. Our presenter is Gerard Prinsloo, Chief of Projects. We encourage you and everyone to attend this. It's very technical, and that we have MOUs with our universities in Mozambique, and that this helps the university fraternity to get up to speed on nuclear business. We have MOUs in South Africa, and that we do market this at the universities to study engineering, study nuclear, and look at the future. There is a future for you in this environment. So make a note of that. We will put that up on again next week. And then we found this train running through the hills, and it was bellowing blue smoke. Hermanus, share with us this Mozweli train. Hermanus.
Thank you, Dr. Dudley. Yes, the blue train of Mozweli is moving, it's on track, moving forward in a direction that we manage every day, every moment into the future. And you see the energy is pumping. That smoke is not the train burning, it is the energy that we leave behind for everyone to kick in with that oomph that we can move forward with everyone. The importance of the train is get your seat on the train. The train not waiting for anybody. You need to get your seat on the train, put on your safety seat belt, and we move forward and on track. Thank you. Back to you, Dr. Dudley. We can close down. Much appreciated to everyone's time for this morning session.
Thank you, Hermanus. That's a blue train. It's a virtual train. Get on the train. Stay on the train. Don't fall off the train, because for the train to come around again will take 8 years. So make sure you're on the Mozweli train. Things are happening. Things are moving. And in Africa, we say that we shall do it. We are doing it, and we are moving forward. So that brings us to the end of our weekly feedback, right on time. Let's keep it clean and green. Mozweli power, and have a lovely week. Thank you, Mani. Back to you.
I will close down the room. We will not take any questions and thoughts, but with that, you can refer it to corporate@mozweli.com, and we will attend to that for you. Thank you very much for your time. Have a blessed day and a blessed week to come until we meet again. Thank you.